Speaker's announced policy of January 4th, 2021. The chair recognizes the gentleman from Texas, Mr. Roy, for 30 minutes.
I thank the Speaker. I thank my colleagues for coming down here and talking about the importance of farming in the United States. One of the things we're dealing with, obviously, we talked about it, some fertilizer shortages. I know that firsthand, seeing some of the farms in the district I represent out in West Texas and so forth. We've got a lot of issues we've got to address. And I just want to note, as a Texan, we had my fellow Texan down here just a little bit ago, that here we sit again. Here it's March 31st, in an empty chamber again. You know, it's the close of a quarter, you know, a fiscal quarter. Members got their places to go, their dinners to go to. We just ran through a handful of votes today, no amendments, no debate. Here's the People's House in all its glory. No debate, no discussion. Do we have a single debate here in the People's House about what's happening at our southern border today? Any discussion at all? Does the Speaker of the House of Representatives give a rat's rear end about South Texas or the rest of this country? About the ranchers that are dealing with a flood of people coming across our border, endangering them and their families? No, they don't care. They don't care at all. But I can tell you, we in Texas care. And the leadership of this body better start caring soon. And let me just say something to all my fellow Republicans who just funded this government 2 weeks ago. Those of you who cut a deal with the devil, you're responsible for this too. You funded this government. You funded the government that's allowing people to come across our border, that's empowering cartels, that's allowing migrants to get abused, that's causing ranchers to lose their livestock, ranchers to be endangered, fentanyl to pour across our border. And now this administration has the gall to shut down Title 42 while Americans are still wearing masks on airplanes, while we still have men and women in uniform being forced to get a needle stuck in their arm with the power of government. And the leadership, so-called leadership of our government, has the gall to shut down Title 42, the one thing allowing us to stop the flood at our border even partially. March of this year, right now, March, 200,000 apprehensions. 100,000 turned away under Title 42. But now the head of the CDC, in coordination with the Department of Homeland Security Secretary, is saying we're going to stop using Title 42. Well, then what in the hell are you going to do? Nothing other than process more immigrants coming across our border who are not truly seeking asylum. But that's what's happening. And what's actually happening at our border right now is that there's shootouts going on as we speak on a daily basis between the Gulf Cartel, it's technically the cartel Jalisco New Generation, but Gulf Cartel, CDG, warring with the Cartel del Noreste of Los Zetas. And we're talking about dead people. Dead bodies, people getting shot in their car, bullets firing, flying all over our southern border, dead individuals, this young girl here, head blown off. All of this is happening every single day, all while American kids are dying with Xanax laced with fentanyl. And again, I want to be clear here. When you take Title 42 away, you, Secretary Mayorkas, you, CDC Director Walensky, you, my Democratic colleagues who are countenancing it and funding it, you, President Biden, when you take away Title 42, the blood is on your hands. Dead Americans, dead migrants, destroyed communities in Texas, empowered cartels, making literally last night, talking to people coming across the border, saying they're spending $3,000 to $5,000 to come up from Nicaragua, Venezuela, Cuba, 13,000 apprehensions from Russia in the last 5 months. We're about to see an unprecedented explosion on our southern border. But again, this administration not only doesn't care, it's purposeful. It is 100% purposeful. Endangering the people of the United States, endangering migrants while in the false name of compassion saying it's good for them, empowering cartels, knowing they're doing it, knowing they, for the most part, do not have a legitimate claim to asylum. They're purposefully not enforcing the laws of the United States, purposefully not using the tools at their disposal, like now ending Title 42. And for what reason? For crass political purposes. That is your modern Democratic Party. Using migrants, using them for political purposes and endangering them and Americans in the process. It is a gross violation of the oath taken to defend the Constitution of the United States. It is fully and entirely impeachable, and every Republican should be agreeing to impeach Secretary Mayorkas on day one when we come into this body and we're in charge of the House of Representatives next January, after the absolute feckless destruction of this country by an incompetent, destructive Democratic majority in this body, an incompetent, destructive, and flat-out reckless administration refusing to enforce the laws of the United States. But that is what is happening. Everybody says, oh, you're going down, there he goes, ranting on the floor again about the border. Well, excuse me, but it's Texas. And Texas needs to be starting to take a little action to tell the rest of this country to shove it up its rear end, because Texas is taking it on the chin. Because the leadership of this country is forsaking Texas, hurting Texas, hurting my neighbors, hurting my community. And it's about time that it stops. And it's about time that Republicans on this side of the aisle stop giving lip service to border security, choose to actually do their job and not fund the government that is refusing to enforce the laws. I listened to Republican leadership down here on the floor a few weeks ago trying to tell me, oh, thank me for giving us more money for ICE and Border Patrol. Well, how the heck is that working out now? More money for more processing of more migrants getting abused by cartels? More money for more processing of more migrants to come into Uvalde, Texas, where the mayor just texted me 5 minutes ago? Tell them, in case you're wondering, that's you Democrats across the other side of the aisle, tell them, and by the way, Republican leadership, tell them to come and see the, I'll edit his remarks, crap show they have created, 500 to 1,000 a day in Eagle Pass and Del Rio, no vetting. These are human beings, Texans, people we represent, our communities. But I promise my colleagues on the other side of the aisle don't give a whit. They sit in their smug chairs in their committee hearings saying, oh, this is all made up. There's nothing to it. It's all lies. Just like the lie that President Biden said and his press secretary said when he accused Border Patrol agents of whipping people. The flat-out lie. Where are those Border Patrol agents now? Have they been returned to their job? Has a report come out? No. I'd like to yield to my friend from Virginia who accompanied me on a trip to the border, not, about a month ago or so?
Yes,
and
sir.
He's a good friend, and he understands